Happy New Year! Hi, so I'm Dr. Cynthia Clark, acupuncture physician, applied clinical nutritionist, creator of Energy Evolution, and president of Longevity Wellness. And for those of you who haven't met him, this is Chuck Pisa. Yay! And so we're coming up on 2020. Chuck is one of the clinicians that's associated with our practice, and he's super cool. We'll tell you more about him in just a second. One of the things that's coming up for me in 2020 is I got a lot of big stuff I've been working on, and some of it, like sometimes things like some of those things stall for reasons I have no idea of why that's happening. And then I learned about this thing called Mercury in retrograde, and occasionally I would have been working really hard on a project, and it's like suddenly it all comes through, and it's like, oh, that's what was going on. So Chuck is both, he's actually both an astronomer, which is like the telescope looking at the stars, and an astrologer, and then he's also a skilled esoteric healer, and he's actually been doing this work so long that he's rather created some of his own comprehensiveness of it. But he stands certainly on the shoulders of giants, and I've been chatting with him lately about what I can expect in 2020, and it's been so helpful to me, and this guy knows so much that I thought you might like to hear about that too. So I've asked him, so I'm going to ask him a few questions now that he doesn't know what I'm about to ask him. And then he's also going to come present this information in more detail at Longevity Wellness on Tuesday, January 21st at 6 o'clock. So mark your calendars. So Chuck, tell me about last year first. Like there were some things that were hard last year. Why were they so hard?
2019 was a difficult year. Actually, the past few years, 2015 through 2019, were very difficult years energetically.
What does that mean?
Well, the best analogy would be like the weather. It was the weather that we all participated in and that we're all subject to was difficult. I'm sure most people recognize in themselves things that they had to deal with, either personal issues in their relationships or possibly issues. One of the big issues that was coming up that started to get focused more in 2018 and 2019 was what's going on with your career or your purpose in your life, and were there some changes that needed to be made? Did you have to do little minor changes, or did you have to wreck the whole thing and start out all over again? Could have been huge shifts in relationship to not only other people, but relationships, say, to your health. Health was a big issue that came up for a lot of people in 2019.
And I definitely saw that in clinic. I saw a lot of people go through just some really difficult stuff, up-leveling in the health world.
Right, and so it's not like some people think about astrology as it being this thing that predicts things. Well, that's not actually. There is a part of a branch of that does that, and a lot of that is. Some people think is a bunch of mumbo jumbo, but what I like to look at it as...
Wait, are you poo-pooing the very thing that we're talking about?
Well...
This is why I love Chuck.
No, because we're not going to be...
Always analyzes...
We want to look at it more like what's the current weather and what's the potential for weather that's coming in. So just like we might tune into an app or the TV and find out, do I need a raincoat today? So do we have this cosmic weather, and this cosmic weather affects us. It affects our energy, it affects our health, it can affect us at various levels. It's subtle, but it's definitely there, and most people will feel it after the fact, like Cynthia just mentioned. If you mentioned to somebody, oh, you started to do a project during Mercury retrograde, I mean, that's like an uphill battle.
Yeah, I've done so many uphill battles in life that I often don't even know that that's what I'm doing at the time. Right. So I've really appreciated the enhancement that you brought to my own career and my own awareness about my health. So you were talking about, it's like knowing when to bring the raincoat. So
That's where it's helpful. If you know the weather, then you're less uncomfortable. I mean, you can go out in the rain with or without a raincoat, obviously, and it's just a question of which one is more comfortable to you. And that's very much like what goes on cosmically. The energies are ever present. We navigate them anyway, and it's just a question of of how knowledgeable do we want to be, and does that knowledge help us? Does it help us get, either feel more comfortable or make us more productive, or or basically are we in alignment with ourselves and who we are?
So I know one of the things about Chuck is he knows so much that over the years, the more that I talk to you, the more that I realize that you have like this whole bookshelf on this one particular. I'm still learning things that I didn't know yet. I just found out about the Maureen thing the other day. But Mike, I'm curious if there is one thing that you would like in 2020. Could you give us one little tidbit of a sort of thing that we might be looking at in 2020? I know that
There's lots.
You could talk for an hour on this.
If I would say there's one word, one of the big words for 2020 is going to be momentum. There's going to be a lot of momentum for whatever it is you want, whether it's for moving forward, whether it's for moving out of something, whether it's for letting go of things, whether it's health issues or emotional issues, relationship issues, career issues. You can go on and on and on. But there's going to be tremendous power and momentum to move forward in whatever direction that you need. And this is the part that's important. It's going to move you in a direction wherever you want to go. Now,
what does that mean?
The rub is if you don't know where you're going, if you don't have some necessarily, some people like to make a plan. Others, it's a little bit more ephemeral. Their idea, they may have a purpose in their life that they want to move, more toward. But there's going to be a momentum in that direction. If you don't have that in place, what's going to happen is you're going to go like this. There'll be momentum, but it's going to be carrying you kind of a little bit all over the place. So
kind of like drinking 4 cups of coffee on an empty stomach.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah.
Exactly. Yeah. Could be dancing in the street someplace, or and dancing in the middle of the street.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing this information with us. Again, it's going to be Tuesday, January 21st at 6 o'clock, and I am so excited about this. I'm looking forward to it. And Chuck's going to be back with us again on March 3rd, so keep your ears tuned about that. And we also have a very fun I haven't even told you about this yet. We're going to have a pre-Valentine's Day class with health coach Tatiana Thompson that is on sensual eating. Doesn't that sound fabulous?
It does.
I know. I can't wait for it. I'm so excited. All right. Happy New Year, and we'll see you soon.
Happy New Year.